Do you have a scribe?
Nope. First order of business is anyone want to volunteer to be scribe?
I'd prefer someone else do it this time around. It was a lot of work. So we do value having our own board scribe.
Yep. Carrie, any chance you would do it?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, you can take them live or you can just watch it and I can help you.
Yeah. Well, having the recording definitely will be helpful. So yes.
Okay. Great. So we are, welcome to the December Board of Library Trustee meeting, our last one of the year. So exciting to be, 12 meetings into the year.
Mm-hmm.
Prabhu and Chris are not going to make it, but we still have a quorum. Anybody else have any welcome comments?
Nope.
If not, we will proceed to the agenda. First is a review and approving of the minutes from the November meeting. So I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from November 19th, 2025.
All right, motion made
I'll second it.
and seconded by Carrie. Any questions on the November minutes?
Yes, I have one comment. It's a, it's just a grammatical correction on the final page, on section 8, right before the budget and finance bold and underline section. It's Renaud. It says Renault, but it's Renaud, R-E-N-A-U-D.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you. And Aaron, thank you so much for transcribing these minutes.
Yes.
That's huge.
You're welcome.
Any other edits, comments on meeting minutes? I'm impressed that you saw that. It's like one of those, those tests you get where it makes no sense, but you read it what it means, and then you look at the letters, and it's like, wait, no, those letters are here. Oh, I'm amazed that you could see that. Great. If there are no other ones, all those in favor of approving the minutes from November, I guess no. All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I declare the motion carried. And we don't have anyone on the Zoom.
No.
Okay, great. All right, well, thank you for that. And yes, thank you, Aaron, for doing the minutes.
You're welcome.
We realize it is a lot of work, and we are looking forward to having a scribe. And we're excited for that update later.
Two.
Yeah, great. Okay, next up are the warrants. We have 4 warrants, warrants 22, 23, 24, 25.
all right.
Entertain a motion to,
Mr. Chair, I make first a procedural motion to approve the A, B, C, and D warrants as a single consent agenda.
Second.
motion made and seconded. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I declare the motion carried.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the following warrants in the amounts I will state and contained the sources of revenue contained in the meeting packet. Warrant number 22 in the amount of $2,899.71. Warrant number 23 in the amount of $7,116.30. Warrant 24 in the amount of $3,618.00. And warrant number 25 in the amount of $7,391.33.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any discussion on any of the specific warrants?
Yes, I had one, and it had to do, I guess this could kind of come at any point in the meeting, but looking at, let's say, item number 23,
Warrant 23.
warrant 23, the second to, on page 2, the second to last item, which is Renaud HVAC, 5,250. I noticed that, so I have no issue with the number, so I'm not going to amend anything, or, it has to do with the supporting pages, page 3 of 4, for instance. That $5,250 bill is listed under 2 ledgers. One is a 300 account, New Library Building Services, and another one is a 100 account, library repair and maintenance. But looking at that, and then looking at the warrant number 24, there was Renaud also carries with it. No, actually, pardon, 25. There was another account that uses. It was a 100 series account, but a different account number for library energy. So, I guess at some point, either now or when we talk about other matters of repair, how do we decide where those fall and what budgets or sub budgets those come from? Because I hope that when some of those HVAC issues are addressed, they'll kind of tail off and really won't be, I guess, budgeted for as much.
That's definitely my hope too. So the 5281,
250.
yeah, the 5250. Without the bill being in front of me, I think that we were able to break it up and use the rest of the funds in one of those accounts. And so that account is expended in full.
Okay.
And then we, in order to pay the rest of the bill, we had to take it out of our appropriated library repair and maintenance fund.
Okay.
It's been a challenge to figure out how we're going to pay for some of these required things. And that's definitely in my director's report. It's
Okay.
something that I wanted to.
And I saw it, so I didn't know if I was kind of jumping ahead, but I figured since it was on there and the three different funding sources were between the two the warrants,
It's a good
that I figured I'd touch upon it. So just something that would be nice to discuss as we budget the rest of the year and then as we talk about FY27.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Definitely, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case with that first bill, as you mentioned, because, yeah, we've been expending the leads recertification
Right.
monies and been using that to pay a lot of those Renaud costs because it was directly related to the project.
But is that account isn't the leads account?
It is the leads account.
Is it?
It's actually, new library building services. I'm not quite sure. I'm just assuming it is because the leads monies went back into the building account, like from the renovation project.
So does that mean the leads account is depleted or, oh, okay,
leads
That's what I'm guessing.
okay,
But I think that's something we can follow up with Mary and
Okay.
the town administrator.
okay, thank you.
Any other, questions, comments on, any of the four warrants? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I declare the motion carried. All right, so
Just one question. Did you, the consent agenda, did you second the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. And then you also seconded the detailed ones.
Yep.
Thank you.
ongoing business, any update from the Friends, Carrie?
Yeah, so the Friends, so unfortunately I wasn't feeling well last Sunday, so I wasn't able to attend Grafton Celebrates the Holidays. However, they had a fantastic time from the report from the Friends board meeting. So wonderful. So thank you very much. We did have Rachel joined in, which was great. So that was last week, right? Last Tuesday.
7th, yeah.
Yep. So so they sold their wonderful book bundles, which did extremely well. So they were able to raise money for the library, which is fantastic. So so that was wonderful. The next meeting will be on January 13th at 7:30. They are looking at having a used book sale in February. It won't be as large as like the September one, but it'll still be, a good opportunity to stock up on really good deals for books. So yeah, and then of course after that it'll be the spring egg hunt. So
Yeah.
so
thank you, Carrie, for your ongoing work with the
Oh
Friends.
yeah,
It's
they're wonderful. They
it's sort of
are,
like all
yeah.
this hard work behind the scenes that needs to be recognized, so I
Yeah,
want to
and they're just so
recognize them.
happy doing it too, which is great. You know, they all like really love, working. So
So I did have a question, Carrie, regarding the Friends, and it arose out of the last used book sale, where there seems to be some secondary market of people who swarm in and barcode all that which might be monetized by these outside groups, and I don't know, I don't know if it was a one-off conversation or we just discussed it here about having just Grafton residents for the first hour or something. Does that sound familiar?
So, I mean, there have been conversations, and there's definitely challenges because you're right. Like, there's different populations that are interested in the book sales, especially when we have the larger book sales in September. You do have, book resellers who come in, and I think what we have to make sure is that everybody is respectful of each other's space. So, trying to think how to put it. It's tough because you don't want like it is open to the public.
Right.
So it's kind of challenging to just restrict it to Grafton residents. But maybe maybe at the next Friends board meeting if you're available, or after that, like
Right.
on the 13th, that would be really great to kind of talk it through because it's not something like I think it's really they need to decide how to do it, and then we can support as trustees and as the library staff and director.
And I don't think it's really a big deal. It's more that if there's a number of people in there sort of pushing their way around, that they're respectful of people's space.
We definitely talked about like there's people that kind of like put a big stash of books aside and try to like hoard it, so there will be clarification about like okay what you can and can't do,
Right.
On that.
But yeah, in the end, yeah, hey, let them buy up a bunch of books. Money's
Yeah,
money,
I mean,
right?
well, that's the thing is, it is making money. So yes, so we love it when people from the community get a good deal, especially like the school teachers, going back, for back to school. But at the end of the day, people can do whatever they want with the books,
Right.
and it's raising money for the
Right.
for the library. So.
Right.
There's no difference in price, so to speak.
Right.
It's all about volume. So if you get
Right.
somebody who's
Yeah.
buying all the
Teachers
good books,
do on the back to school sales.
Yeah.
Teachers do get a discount.
Okay.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying
the
is
so
general
they're
public,
paying
yeah.
more actually for
Right.
the
I
other
see.
books.
Yeah, right.
For the back to school
Just
sale.
volume.
Right. Yeah, as long as everyone, those sort of resellers are respectful, of everyone's space.
Yeah,
It's neither here nor there, I guess. in the
yeah,
end.
I mean, and it's certainly helpful. Like that's one of the things like helped like last September. Like you're trying to walk a fine line, and you're trying to again make sure everybody has space,
Yep.
and it's controlled.
But thanks again.
But it
Karen.
is it's definitely a challenge. It's the balancing act for sure.
I just have one question.
Sure.
So you mentioned the book sales generally for fundraising, and then the egg hunt. Is there talk of any other type of fundraisers, or they just keep on doing what works, right?
Well, the book sales are the biggest. The ongoing book sale,
Right.
which throughout the year, there's the Friends Corner. There's ongoing sales in the big sales. Those are absolutely the biggest money makers because there's donations of the books, so it's it's a good profit. And again, they're going to do the book sale in February and the spring egg hunt. They're always open to other suggestions and things like like the caddy stacks and that.
I was
But
going
right
to mention,
now-
I love
yeah.
caddy stacks.
Yeah,
I
the
hope they
caddy
bring it
stacks
back.
is fun. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll give that feedback. That
Especially in the winter time where
Yeah.
people
yeah,
want to be inside.
yeah, that would be. And
Yeah,
now
as
that we
long
have
as
all the space.
Katrina's okay with.
Is it mini golf in the library? Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's nice to have your space back, though, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And that caddy stacks takes up quite a bit of space. So that's yeah. So yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I also want to thank the Friends too. The book bundles obviously took a lot of work because they
Yeah.
were all arranged by either theme or by series.
They're well curated, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it
Yeah.
takes it's months of work. So when the donations come in, especially like Erin in the team, like it's like like we just need one more of these to make it a Judy Blume collection or whatever whatever it is. So yeah, you do. Yeah, it's nice. So,
Great.
so thank you. Yeah, we'll
All right.
pass that on.
Thank you. Next up is the library director goals by Rachel. So we did distribute those, albeit just, was that last night or this morning? That was last night, I guess. But yeah, Rachel.
Yeah, and thank you to Carrie, because Carrie also, we met to review these. So we leveraged what we had for the last set of goals, and then just kind of put a little, like, kind of group them differently. And then Katrina's already had a chance to look at them and give feedback too. So as a quick reminder, these goals are from January to June. And we tried to make them achievable, because if there's anything I've learned the last 6 months is a lot of stuff comes up at the library, right? So as she's trying to get oriented, you'll see a lot of the stuff around staff development is really about supporting, mentoring, building the relationships. The operational stuff is still building those relationships and those networks. There is a piece in there when we start talking about the patron usage around the newsletter, which I know she's already been in a process of, but also around the community room. And so what we tried to do to balance it is we have developed a plan to open the community room in FY27 with core operation plan completed in 26. I know I got a few questions around, should we be doing more sooner rather than later? Is it something we can actually get open in 26? So we can talk about if we want to adjust it. I think the initial thought is there's a lot of stuff outside of Katrina's control around it, and I will say, even stopping by the library for the staff holiday party and to set up just hot water, the sinks, you actually can't use them with any pot because they're too tiny and stuff like that too. So I think if we are trying to open up for the community, right, I wouldn't think that would hold it up, but I think there's a lot of moving pieces that Katrina would have to figure out, and even to like have it in a spot. I think also Katrina's mentioned in the past, like the stove, it's not quite sure how to operate it, and so there's a lot of tiny pieces around it outside of just the policy, the building, and the security.
So this is necessarily after hours.
Yeah, so it's all the after hours stuff. And so there's just a lot of pieces around it, right? Because I think you want to make sure it's in a good and easy to use spot, because otherwise people are going to be asking a lot of questions after hours and it will be disruptive. So again, very open to changing any of the language in that, or specifically that one if we want to look to have any like subsets of it delivered this year, but that was kind of the logic behind it. So I'll pause. Is there any adjustments, feedback?
Yeah, I had a few comments
Sorry,
first.
just one quick
I'm
question.
sorry.
Are we looking to approve this tonight? I assume so? Yeah.
Yeah, because then,
Right.
so if we approve it tonight, then she has January through June, the end of June, which is a half year, which feels like the right line.
Okay.
I'm sorry, does somebody know, can point me to where this is? I'm not seeing it in
It
the
was
attachment.
attached to
It was
Doug's
Yeah,
email,
Doug sent it.
but
It
Katrina's
is?
actually
Yeah.
prepared.
I
And
can-
Rachel said, yeah.
I mean, I can pop it up here, but
Just the one page, right?
yeah, it's just a one page.
So I had a few comments, and I'm not necessarily thinking we have to dig in and change this or amend this, because we know historically that those discussions can really get deep and tedious and sometimes unnecessarily. But first, thank you for meeting and doing this. Knowing and reading this, I can only say that I'm sure a lot of time and effort went into this document, and I think it's a really good working document. And
And thank you to Carrie, because Carrie's
Yeah,
been here
both
with the
of you, yep.
background more than me, so.
Yeah, but you had a great first draft, so it was a really productive session.
so, and this doesn't need to be necessarily memorialized in item 3, but since
Is
we're
this
at
operations item 3?
operations item 3.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, operations in the middle. Evaluate the FY27 budget. Propose any adjustments and support the finalization. At some point, when the town administrator and the select board come closer to, finalizing budget numbers and proceeding toward whether or not they'll put an override on the ballot, Prop 2.5 override. I know that in the past, different department heads have had to have a contingent budget ready. So I think that may enter into discussions, with the various department heads to say, okay, here's your ask, and, please have a contingent budget of X reduction ready. And then, so I think that will sort of, become clearer in the next few weeks.
Well, so I just
And I
updated it then, so if it says evaluate the FY twenty-seven budget, propose any adjustments and support the finalization inclusive of a contingent budget if necessary.
Yes, yeah,
Sorry to.
thank you. And then, under operations number 4 regarding HVAC, that's fine, as it is. Again, just mindful in the general discussions we've been having. I would love for some of this to just be, fixed, but we continue to have different type of HVAC issues that are not the poltergeist issues that we've had in the past, and I throw that word out there, tongue in cheek.
That seems accurate.
Yeah, but the funky noises, but keeping an eye on that. Under operations item 8, complete all required report submissions and activities to keep us in compliance with MBLC. And I don't know whether in CW Mars and other entities, how expansive we want to make operations item number 8.
So I just added the end after MBLC and other relevant entities.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I guess also too, like we're relying on Katrina to make sure that anything that is due. So we don't want to say like do this, and this, and that's all you need to do. It's like
Right.
You need to make sure anything that is required needs to be submitted.
Yeah, and then under
I mean, my only comment on that is it is partly a goal, but it's your responsibility, right? So it's part of your job role.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it is something that I guess we can not what is the right word, grade. We can look at and see if they were all completed in a timely manner as far as your review goes.
Yeah, and I think, Doug, as we think about next year's goal with the full year, I think that's something that we could take a couple months to kind of craft. I think the last one we have probably wasn't very comprehensive on what we want. And I think as we get into next year's goal, it's going to be a lot on the strategic plan and some of that stuff. And once we have the strategic plan, I would feel like your goals will be set. It will be a much more goal oriented versus core responsibilities. And so I think that's a great call out. This is kind of a straddling the both until we have that vision and that strategic plan we have to execute on.
Right. And then on the bottom section, increased patron usage. Number 1, continue to deliver the director's newsletter or report. That's probably an interchangeable term. I would probably use the word report.
It's not for this. This is the one that goes out from the Grafton Public Library. So that's
Yeah,
like
the
The newsletter.
Yeah, so that's like
that's-
the community outreach.
Okay. All right. So you meant to say all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I
My
really
bad.
enjoyed the newsletter, so I'd like to keep going.
All right. And then on that same section, number 3, build effective relationships with local community groups, including friends, school libraries, and others. I don't know, because in the same way that we use friends, and I would request that be a capital F under friends,
Updated.
that the Grafton Public Library Capital Plan or Capital Campaign Inc., the nonprofit, would sort of be included in that. Not that it necessarily needs to be named, but local community groups, including, since we're including friends, do we include the Grafton Public Library Capital Campaign Inc. in that? Do we need to get that?
I'm not sure who they are, so I would.
Well, Doug.
Is it just Doug?
Two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're incorporated.
But it is a an incorporated 501c3
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
entity.
so
And-
build
with a board.
with local community groups, including
What's the official name of it?
Friends,
Uh,
Grafton Public,
Library Capital Campaign, Inc.
yeah.
Library.
I agree. I mean, if we're going to include the Friends, which is another 501c3,
Right.
we should include the Capital Campaign.
Yeah.
And it is a valuable resource for
Yeah.
the library and for Katrina's.
So, Doug and Carrie are two of the three officers of that. And that was created, with the expansion. So, and so that's been also used as a funding source, so.
Yeah. All right. So I just adjusted it to say after including Friends with a capital F, the Library Capital Campaign Inc., Grafton School Libraries, and other local groups. Again,
Yeah.
it's not meant to be exclusive.
Right,
It's-
right. And I don't want to come across as sounding critical, but
No.
it was just sort of making the comments of questions and everything. And that's all I have, but I think it's a great working document.
Awesome. Doug or Aaron, did you?
Rachel? Yeah, please. So I guess this is for either Rachel or Carrie, whoever wants to comment. So, there's a lot here for 6 months, right? And I see the word effective used a lot, right? So how do you measure an effective relationship with the MBLC, local community groups, friends, school, libraries, right? So when you think of like SMART goals, right, it has to be measurable is one of the criteria. So how do you measure an effective relationship, and who's going to measure that, right? So generally, I think this looks great, even though there's a lot here. I just want to make sure that it's achievable. Like you said, a lot of things can come up
Yeah.
in 6 months. So does it make sense to say even like effective scheduling of library staff? Well, what's effective scheduling, right?
Well, and I think this gets back to Doug's comment earlier about how a lot of this is just like your responsibilities,
Yes.
right? And so I don't know if we and
I would love to pare it down if there's things that are part of her job description, or if there are real,
yeah,
meaty goals that she can really focus on, rather than trying to meet 20 different goals in 6 months.
yeah, I'm definitely open to it. I think the thought was this kind of outlines our expectation as she's getting off the ground. Like these are the core things like we need
Core
in the
things,
first
sure.
6 months to make sure running successfully. If we want to get down to only 3 goals, because we kind of the 3 goals are staff management, operations, and increased patron usage. So these are almost like I think of like sub goals within those
I
groups.
see. Okay.
And like different ways you're measuring that you're maybe like driving operations or executing on operations is probably better for that statement, right? But those would be the different like tasks that if you're doing it, you're kind of moving forward. I don't know, Carrie, your thoughts for
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I guess like, typically like I've seen like, you have like kind of very specific kind of goals, like if there's big projects, but like the core execution, like, effective execution of your job responsibilities oftentimes are kind of stated as a goal, like how effectively are you executing your job, responsibilities too. And I think with this one in particular, we're trying to like help give suggestions and guidance as far as like, for Katrina to get her, to jump in and get her feet wet. So I think that's really
Okay.
the approach.
And I had
Yeah, I mean, I agree that you really want to have some kind of measure, because at the end you want to say like, how did you succeed at this
Yeah.
goal?
So I would almost look at it this way then. So let me see if this makes sense. In this current, I'm not saying we make any changes. I think this is really well done. But let's say, so build effective relationships with local community groups, including friends, school, and libraries, right? So in 6 months, when we meet with Katrina, we'll say, how have you built effective relationships with these groups, right?
Right.
And, then I guess that's the evaluation. Either we accept it as, oh, okay, that is effective, or really maybe, you haven't been going to friends meetings or whatever. We see something, and that would be kind of how we evaluate that. So is that kind of the thought behind it?
That's absolutely my thought, is like, give some structure, but then like, allow Katrina to explain like how she did or didn't like focus on this. And there might be, at the end of the day, like there might be something completely out of left field that takes her away from achieving these goals. And then she would have to explain that as well. So,
But that's a good example where a measurable goal would be, attend at least one meeting with each of these groups. Right? So she goes to a friends meeting, she meets the board there and checks off that goal.
Yeah, measurable.
Yeah.
So
But
I think
I'm
the
okay
only-
with the wording it is now,
Okay.
because I think that's essentially what we mean by building an effective relationship in the first 6 months. She's not gonna have time to do a lot with each of these groups, but she should at least schedule a meeting, meet them, get to know
Yeah.
them, and have that kind of open line of communication.
And one of the reasons, like Carrie and I kind of talked about, should we put numbers or not like that, like the number of meetings is at the end of the day, Katrina, this is your organization to run and we need to empower you to give you the freedom to do that. Cause you might say, I actually haven't attended any friends meetings, but instead what I do is when people come in for like to do stuff with friends,
Yeah.
I stop by and say hi, right? So I
Exactly.
think giving the like autonomy to figure out like what does that relationship looks like and how do I want to build with the community. That was
Yeah.
kind of the conversation we had, like, because I think the last goals had some statements like that, and it felt like it wasn't given the freedom to really build how you want.
Yeah, and I guess for me, I would rather see like if Katrina like builds really effective working relationships with the friends, like not just like, oh, I attended a meeting. Well, you could attend a meeting and not do anything. So that's I guess.
I had one question. Since Katrina is here, through you, Mr. Chair, I would want to hear Katrina's feedback as director on the scope and wording of this document. Do you have any feedback? Is it too duplicative? Is it too much? Are you cool with the wording or what?
Were you able to review the document in advance?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we reviewed it last
That's what I
Thursday.
thought.
Right.
Yeah.
With your one-
So I'd like to hear her thoughts.
Sure. So I think it is very doable. I do appreciate the expansiveness of it. I'm delighted because I could actually check off several of these already, which makes it really easy for me. But I appreciate the structure of it so that I have goals that I can focus on and, like Rachel said, sort of decide how I'm going to do that and then how I'm going to defend it in June when you
Right.
ask me about it.
Okay.
So, and I think Doug, because I haven't been through this process, traditionally it would just be a side meeting, right? It's not like you come in front of like goals, like how does that piece work?
Correct. Well, it's been relatively, I think, I mean, Carrie and Aaron, you guys have been here a while too. It's been bouncing between the board just providing commentary to the town administrator. So we would be meeting with the director and, honestly, we didn't always have a document of their goals and stuff, but we would meet them and then we would provide feedback to the town administrator. So I think this is a great process though to start off with Katrina.
And also, it's looking at these items. These are items that are contained in your regular director's report and on various monthly agendas anyway. So I think it will be a pretty seamless and transparent process because this is stuff we touch upon all the time. So, including the objective stuff, foot traffic and new library card, holders and such. So.
And it does give us an opportunity, at the monthly meetings, if there's, a particular item that, she's been doing great on, recognize that. If there's a place that's been lagging a little bit and the board thinks that she should reprioritize and do that, then we can have that discussion at a future meeting.
Right.
Any other, I guess we went right into discussion. Sorry, we were supposed to do it the other way, but any other thoughts or feedback on this before?
I know I was one of the ones that commented about opening up the community room to after hours. I'm fine with sticking with FY27 with some operational plan completed in FY26 because there's nothing that stops us from completing a goal early, right? If everything gets done in FY26, that's great.
So were you ready to receive a motion?
Yep.
All right, I move that the board approve the wording of the library director's goals for the period of January through June 2026 as amended through our discussion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Great. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I declare the motion carried. Thank you to everyone for the discussion and for putting the goals together in advance, Rachel and Carrie.
And I'll just send out the updated version to everyone with a little few wording changes now. So.
Thank you so much.
Sounds good. It might be something that I think we need to have like a sign off on it. Like, should I, as chair, and Katrina sign off on them? You think that's necessary or not?
I mean, they're memorialized in the meeting minutes, right? Like, would they?
Do you mean like print them and sign them?
Yeah, sign off like these are the goals that the board have put forth, and Katrina agrees to them by signing off on them.
I'll do whatever you want.
No, I think that was a great point. Like, the board approved it.
It's part of the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No
Right.
problem then. Yep.
We could do the handshake. Go retro, right?
Thumbs up.
I love it.
And I'm just gonna CC William on it too. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Definitely.
All right, great. So moving on the agenda, we have the policy committee update. The agenda was amended. So we have the volunteer policy and the library displays policy updates.
And I will just, Mr. Chair, if I could just make a comment procedurally that I had noticed that the amended copy on the town website wasn't stamped in. And so the clerk, town clerk's office stamped that in 4 minutes before deadline. You know, I mean, it was posted, but even the amended agendas are supposed to be posted on their end. And so the one that previously existed up until 4/26 was not stamped. And so,
This was today?
yeah, in other words, you'll notice that it was, even though it was up online yesterday, it was the version that was not overlooked stamping it in.
Oh.
And so it doesn't have the stamp, and that was done. I called like at 4:15 this afternoon. I said, what's going on? And so it was just an oversight on their part. I just want to clarify that they do an awesome job. It's just that piece was, something that didn't exist until today.
Okay.
I don't think anyone would have had a beef of us discussing it, but if someone did, they might have had a leg to stand on.
So you're saying like this, like it has the seal, but it doesn't have like the
No,
stamp.
no,
on it.
No.
Stamp, it's
There's
like a-
there's a
yeah.
lot, like it
Like,
gets,
This is when
it's
it's
an
first-
electronic stamp when they receive it, so.
Are we going to be approving these policies tonight, or is it just an update?
I would love to talk to you guys about this,
Okay.
and then I'll let you know what.
All right. So we'll let
Sure.
Aaron go then.
So generally, if there's a policy that the board is going to be voting on, I'll usually send it to the board. We don't really have to list the policies on the agenda, so we really didn't need to amend it.
Okay.
It's really just going to be a policy update. If we are going to be voting on policy, then I think we would be writing it, putting it into the agenda, that we're going to discuss it at the meeting. But in this case, I'm just providing updates.
Okay.
So, I mean, great catch, Doug, for just pointing out, hey, can you send that policy ahead of time so we have time to review it? But you'll notice that previous agendas, when we don't have anything to vote on, we'll just say policy committee update. Yeah. But this is precisely what we worked on during our policy committee meeting on December 2nd. Prabhu couldn't join us, so Katrina.
November 2nd?
No,
Oh,
December.
December 2nd. Okay, sorry.
December 2nd.
December 2nd.
And Katrina and I met over Zoom. It was a snowstorm outside, so it was perfect. And I think we'll continue to meet via Zoom, at least during the snowy months. That's what we did last year. And it does allow for Prabhu, and I think it was also a library staff member to join us remotely. So we're going to have 2 members from the Board of Trustees and 2 staff members again. And
Okay,
potentially the scribe, if they can join us, because Kim had joined us in the past. So,
great.
so
So-
potential.
So on the 2nd, it was yourself, Katrina.
And that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Prabhu couldn't
Okay.
join us.
In the future, it'll be another staff member. Will it be a rotating staff member or will it be a permanent?
It should just be one permanent staff member.
Okay.
So, we had gone through, two policies. We're working from the comments, that legal had made and that had gone to the, union as well. Because we want to really make sure that we're incorporating legal's feedback, because it was voluminous. And also because Katrina is now putting her blessing on these policies as well, even though she wasn't here to write most of them. So we're spending a little extra time. So the volunteer policy, we just had a few quick corrections on. It is a challenge working off of like this PDF. I think I need to now go back to the original copies and then incorporate, either what we're going to incorporate from legal and in the commentary that we had done as well. We came upon a kind of, I don't want to say it's a showstopper, but it was something that gave us pause, which, again, this is a volunteer policy about home delivery to housebound patrons. One of the comments from legal is that there may be some legal risks here by sending a volunteer to someone's home, right, to deliver books. So Katrina was going to take that offline and bring to the next policy committee meeting. But, barring anything else tripping us up, we should have the volunteer policy ready to go at the next trustee meeting.
I guess just a side note on that, like, would there be a concern to have staff do home delivery, or was it specifically because it was volunteer?
Because it was volunteer.
Yeah.
It's a volunteer policy. So we say volunteer tasks, home delivery to housebound patrons, shelving, shelf reading displays. So a lot of stuff in library, but also home delivery to housebound patrons. And Katrina mentioned a lot of libraries do use volunteers for this purpose. So that's what we need to kind of take a look at and see how other libraries do it. And we've been doing it in the past too. But that was just something that they had picked up on.
And I would comment that in lieu of that potential liability, however we want to advertise or put a bug in people's ear that, the library's here, we understand that you may have friends or family that are unable to physically get to the library, have that discussion with those people, and maybe those family members could actually physically go to the library to pick things up,
Well, and I guess just to comment on that, I would say just because the legal team comes back and says, we don't know if this belongs in a volunteer policy, I'm really interested, Katrina, what like MBLC has in their policies, which I'm sure is like where you're going next with it, because it is a pretty common service that libraries provide. And so I think it's good to have the feedback and the conversation with the legal, but I think understanding like what they're really asked to do with it, right? Like you're delivering a book. It's not like we're delivering lumber or something heavy, right? So like it's a little different. I would just be interested to hear what happens when it comes back. If we're providing a service that other libraries have, like I think we should be in line with what other libraries are.
And I would comment that I agree that if I understand what you're saying is that these recommendations aren't necessarily edicts. If there are any strong opinions in this regard, I would certainly want to see the legal opinion in writing. I'm not that I don't trust this, but sometimes things get lost in the details and the back and forth that he said, she said, and I would be one to request that in writing to see what the issues are, because a delivery service, the difference here is that if they're unable to get to the library, that there may be other limitations which require the delivery person to actually physically go inside the person's residence, and I think that's the line of demarcation that may be of concern, versus just dropping it off at someone's door, but maybe that person has limitations that they would need that person to enter the residence.
So I have all the legal commentary. I'm happy to send.
Okay,
it over to
awesome.
you.
Yeah,
Right, thank you.
I don't think we need to go through that.
No, but I think that,
But you're absolutely right. That's what they mentioned. So
yeah, and then maybe a workaround. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to diss that idea. Maybe there's a way we could word things or have an overview and training to sort of mitigate that concern. So,
So, the volunteer policy is nearing completion, barring that piece. The library displays policy is a very short policy, and it really just talks about curating the displays that librarians will put up, celebrating different parts of the season or certain holidays, things of that nature. It didn't really warrant its own policy. It should really be part of the material selection policy. That said, the material selection policy is quite voluminous, and so we really want Katrina to get behind it and make sure that she understands it. And this one we're going to be workshopping for a little while.
So maybe in the future it might collapse into that other policy, but for now, may as well go forward with it. Is that the thought?
No,
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I think
Oh, okay.
both
You're-
of those
You're gonna
policies
put it together.
will be put together.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
and I'll add, Aaron, and to the board that under the material selection policy, and I'd spoken with Katrina about this, is the freedom to read statement, the 3-page freedom to read statement, or maybe goes on to a 4th page, that pretty much mirrors the American Library Association, ALA's freedom to read statement. And so just to, as a reminder to the board that of all these documents that are and policies that are in there, it's a great refresher of what we're about, because freedom of speech is under, and freedom of expression, they're under attack. So that's a very strongly worded document that is like a must read. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be exaggerating to say that should be everyone's next book club. Like, seriously, that 4-page document with everything going on in nationally and in the world regarding, First Amendment stuff, is a great read. So,
Doug, can I ask a quick question unrelated to
Yep.
those two policies? Aaron, I believe a previous meeting you had mentioned that we have a lot of policies and maybe more than the average library. I was just curious how that evaluation was going, if that's just starting to say, like, what's really a procedure or a standard. And I guess when I hear about the library displays policy, like, to me that jumps out, like, is that just a procedure or a best practice that Katrina can have a one-pager on, and, like, it doesn't have to be a policy? So I was just curious where you are with that.
Yeah. So it's the first time we met, right? So it's that whole
Yeah.
team building, right? The forming, storming, norming, and performing kind of thing. So, and we really just meet for an hour. So I think if we were to do that sort of activity, it would require us to really just only do that and not really review any new policy to bring to the board. So I think I'm certainly happy to talk about it here with the board now, or we can talk about it at a later date on how you see the activities of the policy committee for the next 6 months, right? If it's just to kind of doing what we're doing, or just reviewing all policy or current policies on our plate. Happy to hear some direction from the board as well.
I had a question in that respect.
Yep, go ahead, Roger.
I'll wait to be recognized.
Yep, Roger.
Okay, thank you. And I guess, first of all, historically, you've been like the go-to, and the nuts and bolts of the policy subcommittee, and other members, too. But you've been the person, and you've done a ton of work in organizing all of this stuff, and I'm wondering if you could share whether or not, in the context of our discussions we've had with all these policies, and there's this online, offline, and we seem to be, when there's some policies that are in place that sort of remained in place, and it seems like there's so many things that continue to be in flux. Is that a sense of frustration that possibly a lot of this stuff, we're seemingly back at square one in spite of all the work? Do you feel that, I mean, for all of your time and efforts, it's like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, it's one hour a month isn't enough to do what
Right.
we need to do.
right?
And if we continue to operate that way, you know, we're gonna be spinning our wheels for a long time. And the first, the biggest issue was, you know, when the previous director and you know another committee member saw a bunch of policies and said we're going to take these down, right? So that sparked a whole different avenue of discussion which we weren't ready for. And, you
About
know,
jurisdiction, about,
or just being
yeah.
a 2 or 3 member,
Right.
you know, committee, and then having those people leave, right? So that really stalled a lot of our operations for quite a long time. So, like you said, yeah, I would love to focus our efforts on paring down our policies, and you know, I think that's the challenge that Katrina and I have ahead of us, and you know, the other librarian who's going to be joining us as well, and Prabhu, that I think we just need to make that our mission, right? Rather than trying to crank out, you know, new policy or update policy. It really has to be really being concise. And we have been, when I was working with the previous director, our main focus was pulling out procedure. There was tons of procedure in all these policies. And so that's kind of, when we bring somebody to the board, we've really pared it down to take all that procedural stuff out so that it's really just policy. So that's kind of, it's been the challenge.
But is it a natural, so the question around, you know, too many and trying to pare down just the number of policies.
Yeah.
Is that a natural process when you review one of these that's been pulled off? Like the committee reviews that policy, but they do it in light of other policies to see if they can be condensed or merged? I mean, is that part of that process, or
Yeah,
is there just not enough time for that?
I think so. Now that we have a focus on removing procedure,
Yeah.
and two, like understanding that other libraries, I keep going back to, you know, Worcester Public Library. They have 12, right, and they're a big city, right? And so I've spoken to Katrina about that a couple of times, and in her experience, we do have a lot, right? And so that is going to be our focus in the way that we work.
Yep.
And you know, the minimum staffing policy, that was a very difficult policy for us to develop. And actually, we decided in the end, as a board, we voted on this, that it wasn't something that, you know, it was important, and other libraries do have this, but in the current form, it just wasn't right for us. So it may come back, you know.
And didn't that start before this, you know, collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, that doesn't that now cover some of that? And now it would have been
It could-
duplicative,
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
so.
I guess back to your earlier comment, Aaron, like when I think about the volume of policies you have, right? Like going through them one at a time and taking out the procedure, it's not always that simple, right? Because sometimes you've just updated a policy that you'd want that piece to be in, right? So now you're taking stuff out and have two policies that one day you want to merge. Like, I do almost wonder if it would be helpful for you guys to just go through the mapping organization. Like, what's everything you want to take out? What policies do you combine and which ones do you want to remove? And then, like, start tackling them that way. I don't know the rest of the board's thoughts, but I could definitely see, like, especially because we have to go back and forth with legal so much, right? If you're saying, well, this one I eventually want to merge over here, but we just went through the whole approval process, right? Now you're touching the same policies over and over again. So I don't know if you guys have talked about that in the committee or if that hasn't really come in as a trade-off yet.
Do you mean just look at them holistically and figure out where we are now, where we want to be, and then making,
Yeah.
you know, our policies kind of fit that vision? No, we haven't spent that time, but again, we're just, you know,
Yeah.
learning how to work together. So it's a good way to go about it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar approach, but just identifying like the top 10 or top 12 or whatever, the top 10 policies, focus on those, making sure they cover what we need to be written in those policies, and then eventually close out all the other ones.
I think it's interesting that you said Worcester has 12. Like, have you compared the like titles of their policies to our policies and see like
Not yet.
Yeah.
So either what direction or what help do you need from the board tonight? I mean, do you need anything tonight, or do we feel like we're still in an early stage with Katrina that maybe we should revisit this in a month or two?
No, I think certainly we probably need to figure out where we want to be.
Yeah.
And I think I haven't heard anything different, that we have too many policies and we have too much procedure, or maybe we do have procedure in there, we want to pare that down. So that'll continue to be the task at hand. Now, how do we do that? That's what we need to decide as a committee. Again, it's me and 3 new people, right? I mean, Prabhu's been to 1 meeting. So it's going to be a process ramping that energy up and getting everybody to work together. So. Yeah. But happy to hear any feedback. If you think of something after this meeting and just want to shoot me an email, I'd love you guys to kind of mull around with that a little bit.
And I'll just add, has MBLC, I don't recall whether we talked about this in our meetings, whether MBLC has weighed in on, or whether we've approached MBLC to give us feedback on the scope of what is generally, how voluminous these policies are.
No, this was just coming from one of the librarians who was a previous library director.
Okay.
She had mentioned that 32 is too many,
Right.
and
Jean
that's when
too
they
had
started to get pulled
feedback.
down, right?
I think Jean had feedback too, right? Like,
Well, yes, because we had approached her for her
Okay.
opinion on that. I want to just say that this is not something that the policy committee has ever done before.
Right.
Policy committee was formed to look at our log of policies and, bring them back, update them, bring them back to the board for approvals, right? That was the process. Now we're being asked to do something that's a little different, right? And I'm okay with that. I think it's necessary. But historically, that's not how the policy committee is operated.
Do you have the right resources and people to be successful around that? Is there anything else like you would do to like?
I definitely need another trustee on the board. I don't know if Prabhu's schedule just isn't conducive to the board meetings or the policy subcommittee meetings. But if Prabhu can't make the meeting, then it was just Katrina and I, and we did our best, because I think the library staff member couldn't make it because of previous scheduling, right? So we really do need to have another trustee on that board.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I'll just open that up to the board. If you're interested, reach out to Aaron, but let's try to see if we can get another person on that committee.
Yeah, I'll certainly talk to Prabhu first,
Yeah.
because his feedback was really fantastic in the meeting that we had with him. He came in person to our, I think, October meeting, and we really had some great discussion and got a lot done in just a short time. So I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt and talk to him first. But certainly, if he can't make it in certain meetings, I'd love to somebody to fill his place. As long as we have somebody, even a rotating person, would be fantastic. It just can't be Katrina and I.
Yep.
Okay.
And it can be. It is. So,
And is the best resource or place for the trustees to look for a list of policies is on the website? That's pretty up to date?
That's still accurate.
yeah.
Okay.
Anything that's being developed, I don't have
Sure.
access to any of that, except what's been kind of emailed to me in the past.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that could be something that is on the library repository, a list of policies being developed. But on the same token, I don't know if that helps you any, right? Because if you want to develop a policy in something, does it help to start with what somebody's written before, or look at other examples of other libraries? Maybe that's what we do, is because a lot of the policy that we're approving or editing were written by, directors previous.
Yep.
Or, so. Some of our policies have been approved 5 times,
Right.
So
Same.
who knows who wrote it initially? Yeah. So, thank you. Good discussion.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks for the work of you and the committee. Any other questions for Aaron on the policies? All right, moving on to Katrina and the director's report.
Right. I just wanted to start by saying thank you so much for the hot chocolate bar for our staff holiday party. It was very well received and continues to be the gift that keeps on giving because it's upstairs and people are still enjoying it.
I would have loved to be a fly on the wall during your party, though. That sounded like so much fun.
Yeah, the karaoke.
Yes, I think Cindy was singing actually. It was pretty great. All right, so personnel and staffing updates. An update on the administrative assistant position. We wrapped up interviewing yesterday and are going to make an official offer to somebody tomorrow.
Excellent.
Yep. Yes, we're very excited. So fingers crossed that they say yes. I don't want to reveal any information until that is in the bag, but I'll keep you posted. Of course, we had the staff professional development day the day after our last trustee meeting. I think it was a great success. We had a really productive staff meeting. We had, I think they were called GLAD. It was the Narcan training. So all of the staff are trained in the administration of Narcan, and the Narcan box was installed by maintenance last week. So that's available in the library for folks as well.
Where is it?
So that is in the upstairs hallway where the bathrooms are across
Okay,
from
so
the
in the back,
desks.
okay.
And staff went around and put other boxes in all of the AED boxes as well.
So Grafton Board of Health, or like who oversaw that? Is it Grafton Board of Health or the health agent? I know we've regionalized. Someone from Worcester?
You mean who did the training?
Yeah, well, who did the training and who's
So-
overseeing? Because we're talking needles, right?
No.
Oh, Narcan train. Oh, okay.
It's
So
like, is it you're administering if somebody's overdosed, right? The
It's like
Narcan.
But-
I think it's like
Yeah.
an air.
It's an aerosol.
oh, it's an aerosol. Okay, all right. So there's no.
needles.
No.
No, all right, because I was like, oh no,
No.
policy. No. It's so it's
Don't add.
okay. I didn't know they had aerosols now that were in general use. Okay,
Yeah, yes, so it's much easier. And this is something that the town hall has already gone through training, and so we just extended it to library staff.
awesome.
Yeah, so it was good. And then all of the departments got to have their own individual meetings at the staff development day and get done what they needed to get done.
Awesome.
It was very productive. I've already began having regular weekly check-ins with all of the department heads. I've already met with all of the staff individually. And in terms of I was talking about the checking the box off checking the box off. Started doing a weekly update email to all of the staff on Fridays, so the communication is rolling. For programs and events, I just wanted to mention that Grafton won the cribbage trophy back. There's
Yes.
8 different towns now that participate in this. And so Mary in Borrower Services has been kind of the point person for going to all of these individual libraries and getting them set up and teaching them how to do it. And we've got a regular crew of people every single month that
That's great.
comes and participates. It's been
That
really
is
fun.
that is a great game about
Yeah.
cribbage.
Yeah, so we'll keep it going. I think she's got every month booked through the end of 2026 now.
So is there like a trophy on
There
display?
is a trophy on
Okay.
display. Yeah, I mean it's a little trophy, but
That's awesome.
Grafton Celebrates was a success. It was very busy. We were very lucky to have a number of staff volunteer to staff the library for that day, so we were able to open the upstairs
Wow.
as well as the community room. We did keep the teen and the children's rooms closed due to staffing shortages. And of course, we did have to scale back on some of the programming, but we had our storyteller and we had our henna performer, and then the friends, like Carrie mentioned, did their book sale both downstairs and upstairs. So we were able to manage the flow of people. I think we had about 340 people in the building that day.
That's awesome.
So it was a significant number.
So how many people did you?
340.
Wow, that's great.
It was good stuff. I didn't realize that this was a thing until recently, but apparently the town has a podcast called Municipals, which I thought was adorable. And I went to the studio today and recorded a session with William and Evan. So I'll be internet famous
All
if you
right.
want to listen to our podcast. I think there's a
Oh, no
whopping
kidding.
12 listeners.
It's called the Studio of Today. Is that something that Bob DeToma put together? What is the Studio of
yeah.
Today? Is
So
it?
you're saying this is
I went to the,
GCTV?
yeah, GCTV. I
Oh.
went to the studio.
I thought you
the
said-
GCAT studio.
It sounded cool.
I went to the studio.
went to the s-
today.
The Studio of Today.
I
I'm
made
sorry,
it
it's
sound
late.
so
Rebrand
cool.
Oh, I was so excited.
It's on Apple. It's on Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
We can listen to it.
Hey, there you go.
Municipals. It sounds like a stuffed animal. Like
It does.
you could do the
Yes.
like
Muni.
the cartoon, like the Teletubbies. Municipals. It was.
They told me there were T-shirts, so I told them I
So,
wanted
so
to
Evan
go.
and William kind of introduced you to the town?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
exactly. They had some
wonderful.
prepared questions. I guess they bring in different department heads every so often.
So did Bob do the interviewing?
Bob did not. It was Evan and William who did the interview.
Oh, they- oh, okay.
And then is it Bill who was recording?
Yeah, Bill wrote
I
it
did
down.
get to
Bill
meet
was
Bob.
off
He
at
gave
the-
me a tour of the station.
Yeah.
gave
That
me
used
a
to be the old
history.
police station.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
But it's a great space,
Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
perfect for their
and it's accessible. So
yeah, important stuff. So that was fun. The building and grounds, I just have some updates for you and just to let you know what's happening. So a couple of weeks ago, the water heater started smelling like gas. We had the fire department in. Yeah, the gas valve was broken, so that was replaced by the plumber. He ended up having to open up the entire water heater and clear out the sediment, replace a bunch of the parts, and said that because the quality of the water in Grafton is poor, it is damaging prematurely the internal components of the water heater, which caused it to break. So he was able to, like I said, clear everything out, replace everything. The gases, it's not smelling anymore. It's the water is actually heating properly, and the water pressure problem was fixed with
good.
Mystics, which is great. So now we know that that was the issue. However, it's going to happen again because of the quality of the water. It's going to continue to erode the piece. So we're working with the town to figure out a solution. He recommends installing a filter. We need to figure out what the quote is on that, how it's going to be paid for. This is something that I'm talking with the town about.
and
I think that's a great example of the MOA we have in place, right? Because I think things like filters getting replaced, things like that, like they have something in place for the entire town. So I think this will be great as you're working with them to hear what they recommend and following that same blueprint everyone else does, so we don't have to like solve that for you.
Yes.
So
the MOA, we love acronyms. A memorandum of agreement. That I think that was an overdue. Looking back, I think that was an overdue document. It's just one of the outliers where I think it's a strong fire chief and then library director report to the respective executive boards. But that doesn't always work. I mean, an executive board isn't equipped to do day-to-day stuff. I will add on the water heater, just to infuse into the discussion how effective a filtration system would be. I know that, I have well water, okay? And just the natural stuff that comes up, every few months, that filter gets clogged up. And it's my understanding from just online chatter that even the most robust filtration systems have just gotten very quickly overloaded with some of the sediment issues, and that the question would be, or questions would be, all right, could you give me an example of or give me an estimate of how effective a filtration system would be. I mean, money aside, I've known people to have filtration systems were be needing in need of replacement. You know, they're going 1/10 into their life cycle. You know, where things should be able to go months, and I'm just talking about a single family home. Things should be able to go months, and within a week they're all clogged up because there's so much sediment that's coming in, and it's been I mean, we see it online where people are showing the color of the water in their sinks, and so I
Yeah, I think this is where the town can really help, right? Because they've been doing this with buildings across
Right.
the city. I will say, I gave Katrina a little bit background of our water quality during our
Right.
weekly touch base, so she's all caught up. But it depends on where you are in town, and so I really do think, like, William and Evan will be able to help direct us the best on
Right.
does it make sense for this building with the water line it's on and all of that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what they recommend to keep all the buildings safe based on where they are, I think is probably going to be great insights and answer
Yeah.
a lot of those
Yeah,
questions.
I think regardless, this board, we don't have the expertise in that too,
No.
so we'll rely on the plumber in the town. And then once you get a quote, you would come back to this board for figuring out how to.
So this
fund
is
it.
probably years worth of stuff. So we probably haven't, excuse me, had any visible water quality issues, right?
Not that I know of.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And being a new building, I wonder how much of that was in the pipes as part of the building process.
Absolutely.
Maybe, so maybe once it's been cleaned, it's gonna be, longer life than the original, I don't know. But we'll wait and see. Okay,
Hope so.
sounds great.
did they give any
the
hint
pipes?
though that it was in need of replacement anytime soon, or that they noticed where unusual accelerated wear and tear?
He said both.
Okay.
That the water heater is going early,
Okay.
prematurely because of the damage that it's
Okay.
taken.
And one of the things I will say, I know very lightly about water quality, but if we're about to replace things, like you want the new filter in before, so that way you get like the maximum life cycle. So I think it'll be interesting to know before we replace it if that should be in place, and just think about how we layer those. Yep.
Right.
Agreed. Okay, moving on. Renaud came in and was able to diagnose a leak in the pipes in the historical reading room, which is why it continues to be hovering at about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I am working with them to bring them back in to figure out exactly where the leak is so that they can repair it. But again, this seems to be an ongoing issue, and it's only part of a larger heating issue where the two units that exist in the room are not big enough and don't have enough oomph behind them to heat the space. So I'm trying to dig into what's been done before, because as I understand it, Tom was on this. They had brought LG reps in along with Renaud. There was a walkthrough, there were quotes, and I'm still trying to piece together all of that.
Yeah.
So, and figure out what the best practice is. I had a meeting with William and Evan today after our podcast, and they're going to come over next week and do a walkthrough specifically for that, but also with all of the other issues, so that we can, I'm gathering quotes for all of this, so that we can
Great.
come up with a
Alright.
plan moving forward.
And I
Great.
think you had an open question last week that we weren't able to solve. Was anyone at that meeting when LG came and have like the quote that was provided? I messaged Chris because I know he would have with facilities. He said he wasn't there.
I can look through, I wasn't at that meeting, but I do have some notes that the previous director had provided from those meetings. I don't know if you have a copy of those, but
I don't. I mean, I have what's on the punch list
Yeah.
document, but I have not been able to find any quotes. And I did try to get access to previous directors and interim directors and administrative assistants' emails. Unfortunately, they're gone.
do you have a copy? So Renaud put together like a 4 or 5 page, kind of like a history,
Okay.
a timeline. Do you have a copy of that?
I do not.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, you don't have any access to any emails, for any of Tom's emails, any,
No, nobody.
Is that
I spoke with William about it already, and he was confused too. But I spoke with our technology folks today, and they could not verify that those accounts existed anymore for me to have access to.
Yeah, I'm
That
sure
make, that makes no sense, but maybe it's a
agree.
privacy issue, I don't know.
well, hopefully
No.
Tom
Oh,
would have,
no.
But
you would
this-
have hoped that Tom would have placed the documents into a network share that you could then access, even if you couldn't access the email.
You would
but-
hope, but I've been searching for them for a month
Well,
and a half.
why don't we can meet, or next time we meet, I can go through my emails to see what I have
would be great.
that Tom might have shared with me.
That would be great.
But even Kim, like you don't have, or Jean?
Nope,
That's
nothing.
surprising. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not too long.
They've
But you have access to the shares, like the network
Yes.
shares, that they would have
Yes.
put some documents if they
They
did.
have,
Okay.
they do not have any of the quotes. They've got some emails in there about like dialogue, but it doesn't really give me the.
I don't remember any quotes from LG. I remember LG came through and made
Yes.
an assessment. I don't think they actually got quotes. I think it was more of an opinion and
Yeah,
diagnosis.
So the way that we would never be able to meet with LG directly, right? So Renault resells the LG equipment. So if ever we have a problem that Renault can't answer, they go to LG. And so they meet with LG directly. So I don't think anything like that would exist
Okay.
that we would be consumers of. Everything that I've seen in my email just now, it's all, from Renault. I don't know if you have any of that, but these are all been emailed to us during board meetings, different quotes.
Probably
and
helpful just to
such.
send them over to, I mean, Katrina, you can
That would be
see what you do
great.
and don't have.
Yes,
That would be great.
I'll do that.
Because I did reach out to Renaud to get anything that they had sent out to us in the last few months. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me.
Okay.
But I guess I'm still just surprised about the emails. Like, I guess that's a
Yeah, we'll
follow-up, but
take that way because I think there's a couple like things around
you would
that.
think that there should be like a back.
I think you should approach that with the town administrator and see
I
if they
did.
can provide any
Yeah,
insights on how it.
in my meeting with William, he
Yeah.
made a note about it and was going to follow up.
And notwithstanding the memorandum of agreement, I think that the fact that the library has its own external website, that we would certainly have some control as a board over that asset to be able to not have someone else say, "Oh, too bad it's not available anymore." It's like, well, how does
that
how
might
does
be-
this happen?
I'm not
I
sure.
think
You
that
mean.
might
Are you talking
be
about the
ju-
email?
Yeah, I think they're talking about the emails and the accounts. Like, we should just find out from the town
Right.
what happened. My
the
guess is
town
this
emails.
isn't what the town normally does
Right.
either, because I know there's like retention policies and stuff. So it sounds like everyone's surprised. So I don't think there's. I think we should just let the town
Yeah,
administrator
yeah.
figure it out
Yep.
before we.
I would
start
hate for
speculating.
information to be lost because a lot of that, but then again, to your point that, yeah, a lot of this stuff we were on the receiving end of as attachments and we could always look back.
So
Yep. But
I
the
have a
direct,
lot to say on the topic
Right.
because I know exactly what's going on, but I'm holding my tongue because it's not for us to decide.
right.
It's
That's the
really-
thing. It's
Okay.
not. It's not really
Yeah,
for
it's
the
all-
board to decide.
yeah.
It's good.
I know
good-
exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, you were going to say, Doug?
Nope. I was going to agree with you and.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Just a quick update on the EV chargers. I had spoken with Will and Evan about them. They right before I brought up the topic, an EV charger rep was in the office. So I think we're going to wait until the contract expires and then look into getting new ones. This company that came in will take away the old ones. They'll replace the new ones for like cheap or free. That's just a better deal, a better company. They'll do on-site. Yeah.
And what was the decision with the current one? Because I thought one of them was not working.
One of them is working.
Yep.
So we're just gonna leave them be.
I see. Okay.
Wait, only one of the four is
One of the four is working.
And when is the agreement up?
I believe it's August.
Yes, it's a summertime.
Were you able to find like what happens if we break the contract early?
No. William and Evan have the contract, and I have not seen that, but I will follow up with them on that.
So let me ask you, I know, prior to your tenure, Katrina, we had discussions as a board about, I guess, I'm not familiar with this because I don't have an electric vehicle, but there's an app that allows you to see whether a particular EV station, charging station is online. The fact that one is, we have two, right? So one is
It was
offline.
four.
Was
We have
four.
four.
Okay.
Two
why sh-
units each have two chargers.
Okay, all right. So three are offline. Are the apps accurately representing that those three are offline and one is online? Do you know? Because that was an issue where some people had, had given feedback that, they what was operational as far as the EV stations weren't accurately being represented on the apps that allow you to see where various charging stations are and which ones are online. Does anyone remember that discussion?
I would only assume that the app, if it's offline on the physical space, it's going to be offline on the app.
Right, and that's my question, whether those two are in harmony with each other.
I don't know.
I would only assume so.
All right.
And I guess my thought is, even if it's not like,
There's
I
nothing
don't
we
know
can
how
do
much
about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Trina can do
We-
about it, and
like,
then
No.
we got
Yeah.
other library things.
No.
We want to get you out of the EV charging.
Yeah.
No, I know. That was just that was all part of the lead stuff. You know what I mean? But we kind of got stuck being in the EV charging
Well,
station
no,
business.
we want to be in the EV business, but we don't want her to manage it. And so this new vendor, the person that stopped by, the town's already using that vendor?
No, it's a separate vendor, is my understanding. Yeah.
If it is something we're moving forward with, it'd be great. I don't know if it's something like Evan and William would want to come and explain like the strategy for EV across
Yeah.
the town and like where the library.
We don't want to be the pilot.
or at least know that we have like the support and like the.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
I feel like we're at a point we can move on.
Okay. Just a quick note that Encore Fire Protection is going to be on site on January 2nd to repair the cracked pipe, as outlined in our failed fire inspection report.
Who's coming? I'm sorry.
Encore Fire Protection. And then I'd already spoken about the heaters. So yeah, and just to reiterate, I spoke with Will today. I'm going to be gathering all of the quotes and everything building wise that needs to be done so that we have a number on everything, and working with William and Evan to figure out a plan forward in terms of what absolutely needs to be done, how it's going to be paid for, and that kind of thing. So I'll keep you posted on that. Under technology, I've been working with our new tech company, Entree, on an inventory and a tech replacement plan. So I actually got the quote today. Unfortunately, as you might know, Windows 10 is no longer supported. So all of our computers are running Windows 10 and have not been updated, which is security risk. I'm hoping, and I don't know what the procedure is for this, but I'm hoping that the board would approve a certain amount of money so that Entree can come in and update the licenses on 12 of the computers that are still under warranty, plus the purchase of a new computer, because the borrower services.
May I take a look?
Yes, please. It's these first two pages. I highlighted what it is. Sounds like an airplane right now. Apparently the fan is going, so it's very distracting when staff are trying to help patrons. They can't actually hear them. They've been told that like I said, the fan is going on the motor in the computer. So I have a quote for replacement for that one computer at $1,325. And then to upgrade the 12 computers that are still under warranty with Windows 11 is going to be $1,800. And so that would be
That's total or each?
that total.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness.
So what is the current version of Windows right now, the most updated?
11.
So all right, so 11 isn't, all right, so.
Yep. So unfortunately, in October, Microsoft stopped pushing out updates for Windows 10. So there are no more security patches. So any new viruses, Trojans, whatever that come up, they're not supporting Windows 10.
And I know in the fall and this next October, they're no longer supporting Publisher. Yeah, Publisher's go by the wayside, and a lot of companies use Publisher for the desktop publishing
What about
stuff.
For the do you know the age of those 12, 13 computers?
They're the newer ones.
Right.
So these are the ones that we would hang on to for a while.
Is that the model?
This
The
is
3090?
the model that we have now.
Correct.
This is what we would replace it with because this doesn't exist anymore. So
This is
For
the
the
single
one
computer you're asking for.
This is the single
But that
computer.
single computer was also new with the renovation?
that one.
Like, is it more,
It was new. It looks like it was relatively new.
I mean, is it better just to replace the fan as opposed to replace the whole computer? I mean, if it's just the power supply
It is.
fan.
It just matters. So is Entree Technologies, is this the group that the town uses?
Yes.
Okay. So they may not have the skill to replace a part like that.
Okay,
You know, I can't speak for them. It's kind of a specialized thing that
these are desktops or laptops?
it's a desktop.
This is a desktop. It's an all-in-one unit, so there's no actual CPU. The CPU is built into
Right.
the stand of the monitor.
Yeah, which is where the skill piece comes in because sometimes you have to take, especially when you're working on a Mac, you have to take the screen out.
Yep.
Because you can't even get at the components in the back. But again, like if it's under warranty, the Dell, which it may not be, Dell would just replace the fan. And I wonder if it even makes sense to just ask Dell to do it at cost rather than buying a new computer, because the fan is a replaceable component.
I mean, that's my initial thought without seeing the details, because
Right.
if it's only 3 years old, it's gonna be, I think it'd be better just to replace the fan.
Well, it's so. I'm sorry, I misread. So this is one of the computers that it was recommended to replace because the warranty was up in 2024. So the total quote is for $41,000 and change.
Oh, sorry.
41,000.
The total quote for
The
what?
total quote to replace all of the computers that need to be replaced and upgrade all of the computers that are still under warranty to Windows 11 for security purposes.
So how many Okay, so there's 12. There's 12 computers that just need upgraded from Windows 11, Windows 10 to Windows 11, and that's like $1,000.
There's actually 22, but 12 is the ones that we use every day that really need it. The other 10 are patron laptops that don't get used often, and so I would rather save the money. And
When you say patron laptops, not the stand, the ones that are like sitting out, or the
no, these are ones that
The borrowed-
we have in the borrower services office for patron use in case they're needed. But in speaking with the staff today, they do not get used very often. So I wouldn't want to spend the money on them yet. It's not a priority, basically.
So
Do we know if I mean, yes, they're no longer in warranty, but that doesn't mean they're not good functioning units. So
That's
is
fair.
there value to just having the out of warranty running Windows 11 get upgraded, and then we don't have to replace the computers until they actually are closer to the end of life?
They all had basic support on them, which doesn't last very long anyways
Right.
for a warranty.
Yeah, I mean, typically it's only a year or two. I mean, maybe 3 years.
Yeah, it said ended May 15th, 2024. So there's an option to extend them with Dell.
Yeah.
So the cost of extending warranty so that Dell would actually replace things like a fan,
Yeah.
you know, could be a few $1,000s, you know, for 22 some odd machines.
Well, and that's not every machine that we have. That's just the ones that were still under warranty. My apologies for not having an exact number, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking we have something more like 35 machines.
yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Can we, I mean, I don't know if how urgent this is. Is it something that, you know, maybe a couple of the board members, I'd be glad to help. I don't know if Aaron can, but like if we could help you look through everything and then come up with a plan that we can then come back to the board with actually funding specific pieces.
I mean,
Sure.
frankly, they said, I'm kind of surprised at the way they presented this to the library. It's like, well, you need Windows 11, so here's $22,000 to replace all the computers. I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
And I'm assuming most of the computers are being used for web surfing, and it's
All
not.
all these computers support Windows 11.
Yeah, I would imagine they do if they're only 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
I was wondering, because there was a comment a couple months back about how we need to get our technology on a replacement schedule. So I think, I don't know if maybe that's where the request started and if that's
Sure.
why there's
Yeah,
confusion.
that's a good.
But I don't think we want to get into habit of replacing all of them at once, because that's
No.
a big budgetary item. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll be good to hear what comes out of it.
Well, that's why I reached out to them, is to get on a plan. So my intention is, let's take care of the emergency items and then work with the town to build it into our allocated budget, so that every year we've got a chunk of money that we can put towards replacing the most needed technology over time. You know what I mean? So the 41,000 is not what I'm looking for to replace right now.
Okay.
That's what it would cost today to replace everything in the library. But like I said, the rep made suggestions on what is priority, security priority, what items are very, very old and do need to be replaced. And I didn't even bring those to you because that can wait a little bit. But the computer that is causing the really loud noise upstairs it does need to be fixed as soon as possible. So the security issues can probably wait a month for us to figure that out. But
And I'll add that there's certain type of expenses, whether in Constellation they have a certain price tag. Number one, I don't know if it's 30,000, but as far as the threshold where you need to go out to bid, number one. And then number two, whether a certain item, based on aside from the total cost, the lifespan, whether it would reasonably fall under the town's capital budget versus the operational budget. I think that's something worth looking into, because we're going to be we're already starting budget discussions in town, and operational budgets are being more scrutinized this budget cycle, FY27.
Yep.
So I can't imagine, like, all of the capital items of various departments fall under their operational budget. So I think, I don't know off the top of my head what that threshold is as far as cost and lifespan, but perhaps if these are being looked at as one lump sum expense, that we see whether that could be extracted from the operational budget and moved into the town's annual budget, annual capital budget.
So I would treat this as a priority for the board. I'm happy to take it offline with you and Doug if you'd like. It looks like we can get all of them up to Windows 11, probably at no cost. Is one thing. It's kind of a free update, but the three of us aren't going to do that. So if we need to hire someone to do that, that's fine, just for the labor.
and that's
The
what we were
1,000.
quoted for. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it
That's
was.
That's probably
I
the
would think-
1,800.
So I would almost authorize that tonight if we
I
had to.
am total. That's exactly my thought. Like those, if it's under warranty, it's a security risk. It's only $1,800. We should proceed with that.
The loud fan piece. Who uses this computer?
It's borrower services. So it's the upstairs desk on
Like
the
the
left.
staff computer.
It's the staff computer. So patrons are coming up to them and asking them reference questions or logistical questions, and they can't hear over the fan.
Could we use one of the laptops that we're not using instead
We could.
in the meantime?
So all of their like programs and documentation is all downloaded on this computer, and porting all of that over is going to pose a challenge.
So I would suggest perhaps we treat this computer as a one-off, and we can maybe do an extended warranty through Dell, and figure out what that costs and come to the board. But I don't want to say power through it at the moment. Even if we authorize payment to buy a new computer, that still takes a long time. And like you said, migrating things over to a laptop or to a new computer is going to take time. So I think we can treat this as a one-off. But
But
certainly
isn't that a line item? Do we have that as a line item in the annual budget?
it's for
Like you're
computer
talking about
replacements.
$1,800, like what would, office, not office
Yeah, where
supplies,
would you
communication?
propose to take the $1,800 to upgrade the Windows of the 12 computers? Where would you take that from?
State aid.
Yep.
Yeah. At this point, there is no technology replacement line item. That
Okay.
was zeroed out.
Okay,
And any kind of building maintenance repair, which you might make an argument falls under, is going to be expended by actual building maintenance and repairs coming
Alright.
up. So
so I guess through you, Mr. Chair, and maybe Aaron would be the one to make a motion. Are you prepared to receive a motion for a dollar amount, a scope of service, and a funding source?
For the $1,800 for
Yeah.
the upgrade of the 12 computers.
Is it 1,800 or 1,000? I thought you said 1,000.
1,800.
1,800. Okay. And that'll do the 12 computers under warranty.
Correct.
Okay.
And does that include the one with the broken fan or
That
no?
does not include the
Okay,
one with the
thank
broken fan.
I was just
They
checking.
should upgrade it in the process, even though it has a loud fan.
I guess I'll defer to Aaron to put
don't-
a
you don't have
motion
any
together
Windows
if you're
10
ready,
devices.
Mr. Chair.
So if it's 13, does the price go up from 1,800, or can they just do that one at the same time?
They want to replace the hardware for $1,300. I'm a little reluctant because that seems like a huge expense if it's just a fan that can be replaced for $200.
That's fair.
Personally, I mean, that's my
Or
opinion.
less.
Or less, yeah. I mean, it's probably a $50 component and $100 of labor or something.
Okay. Yeah.
But from my perspective, it seems like if it's important to upgrade those 12 workstations from 10 to Windows 11 for $1,800, we should put a motion
Right,
on the floor.
but the question is it 13? Because
Yeah.
the broken fan computer may have Windows 10 on it.
It does.
Oh.
All of our computers are running Windows 10. All of them.
13 or 22X. So how many computers in the building?
35,
That's
like-
what we need to know. That's the priority,
like
not these 12.
Like 35-ish. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we authorize 12, you're going to have to come back to us to authorize the rest of them.
Correct.
The computer that's making the noise, that's not one of the 12 that you want to upgrade to Windows
Correct.
11. So can we just upgrade those 13 computers, the 12 plus 1?
Sure.
But what Aaron's saying is that
we
she's gonna come
can't put
back.
on Windows 10 anymore. This should have been done 6
That's
months
what I'm
ago.
saying. So those 13 computers upgrade from 10 to
No,
11.
every computer at the
Every-
library is running Windows 10.
But I heard 10 of the patron laptops aren't even being used.
Right.
So that, to me, we should make a decision
But-
on what to do with those.
But are those permanently off service? And I stress the term permanently.
They're not permanently, so they are available for patron use as needed. They just don't functionally get used.
So I would not want those to be overlooked because there's a possibility, even if it's rarely that they're used because they're technically online. I wouldn't want to see any of the computers have outdated software.
And security, right? Because somebody could
Right.
borrow it and
So I guess if we are open for a motion, the motion I would make is with the board having the feeling that having any computers on Windows 10 probably isn't acceptable, but knowing we have a little more discussion needed, I would make a motion that we authorize Doug for the final sign off in the right number of computers to upgrade after conversation between him, Aaron, and Katrina to figure out how to best approach it.
And are you coming up with, so when you make a motion, are you coming up with an up to a maximum funding amount and source? Presumably state aid.
So we can do the, what's 1,800?
I mean, for those 12 workstations at 1,800, that's $150 a workstation to
It
upgrade
is.
to Windows 11.
Yep.
So we
I'd
can-
say with up to $175 per workstation to upgrade. Give you a little wiggle room in case our math was.
and how many
but we don't know how many workstations. I count 23.
Honestly, this all makes me very very uneasy because when you say $150 per workstation, that makes me think that they're charging you for a license that you don't even need.
Right.
So I don't almost want to understand what the 1,800 is getting us. If it's just labor, I mean,
Yeah.
$100 an hour.
You're right, and you
It's
must
like
see
18
it.
hours worth of work.
Un-
Like,
underutilized
so where's it coming?
Like
Licenses,
there's
yeah.
a cost for them to come to the building, so if they're doing 10 or 15, like it shouldn't
It is just
double.
you push a button and you wait an hour or two.
Right, so you could have
Windows
them all
11.
running.
It's not a lot.
Yeah, if it's 18 hours worth of work, or 10 hours, if they charge $150 an hour.
I'd be open for like an ad hoc meeting to approve stuff once you guys have better, like, I don't know if that's the best way to approach it.
So there are 47 computers in the building.
Yeah.
The reason why she quoted the upgrades to the software only on the computers that were still under warranty is because they're new enough to not warrant needing replacement. If we spend the money to upgrade, the reason why she didn't say let's also upgrade the ones that are out of warranty was because they were recommending replacing, and so the replacements would come with Windows 11 because they would be new computers. So I guess the consideration is, do we just upgrade everything, like figure out which computers need upgrading, like absolutely imperative because the hardware is so old that they're dinosaurs and they're no longer like worthy of keeping, and then which ones we can stretch a little longer than their recommendation and upgrade those as well until such time as we're ready to roll them into the replacement plan. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my biggest concern is we want to integrate the replacement plan as part of this whole thing. We don't want to just.
Yeah, we don't have new computers in the budget.
Right,
Right.
yeah,
And they were
so-
all purchased at the same time.
Correct.
So
They're all gonna.
not that I want to push this down the road, but how about we meet with, maybe it's Aaron and I, we get more information from Katrina to look at the whole picture.
If you want to do a conference call, happy to get on a drop.
Total number of 47 computers,
Yes.
when they were purchased, what version of the OS they have.
I have
Look
all
at that
the
whole
information
sheet.
for you, yeah.
And if we need to make a decision before our next monthly meeting, we'll have an ad hoc meeting to approve the budget.
Yeah.
Great. And it might be because Entree is in every twice a week. I can maybe ask them to port over whatever information is on that computer to a laptop or something so that the fan issue is at least taken care of. I need to do more information on
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to
Find
see if it
more
can
information.
come out of service. I wouldn't say shut it down because then you're down a computer, but if it can come out of service.
You just rotate it through.
it.
Yeah, maybe we've discussed this enough. Of the 47 computers in the library, are those all new with the renovation? Do we know that?
Most of them, yes. Some of them are older.
So they're 3 to 4 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a okay plan for you?
Sounds like a plan to me. Yeah, I'm all for saving us money where we can.
Yep.
But thank you for being willing to work with me on that.
No, I mean, I know the workstations are, obviously security is key. And those workstations, at least the ones I've seen on the adult area, are heavily used. So they're an important
Yeah, we
resource for the
probably should.
community.
We probably should have brought this up a while ago.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
but thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll work to get a plan in place.
Okay.
Budget and finance. So I met with Mary at town hall for radar training. She was very illuminative.
What training?
So Vadar is the software that the town uses for accounting.
Okay.
So I was able to log into the software, learn about running reports, figure out where the information is that I needed. She encouraged me to look again at the budget, although it was submitted and approved-ish by the finance committee, so it's already on to the next, I think, but Evan is going to give his presentation to the select board tomorrow. There's still wiggle room for me to make some edits as needed, so I am going to look at that and submit that probably tomorrow.
But the finance committee reviewed it and they were
It's
okay
kind
with
of, it's
it.
kind of like in pre-review, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so I did put, for budget and finance, I added the, up-to-date expenditures on the back. I'm not sure if you saw
great.
that.
That was helpful.
Yeah, so we're, you know, bottom line, we're about where we need to be because we're about halfway through the fiscal year. I did want to draw attention to the repair and maintenance line. So we've already, like I said, expended 82% of our repair and maintenance, and we only have $4,256.12 in that line. I've got an $8,500 bill coming up that we're going to have to figure out how to pay. That's for the repairs of the sprinkler room cracked pipe that we absolutely need to fix, otherwise the fire department shuts us down.
And I had highlighted those three lines, and
Yep.
I didn't know which of the, and then the two below it, and others that were 80 in the 80 percentage. I know that sometimes there's payments that are front end loaded,
Yes.
whether it's CW Mars or other subscriptions or obligations. So those high numbers, those high percentages, didn't concern me, but that repair and maintenance did stick out,
Yes.
and that we really do only have 4,200 out of a budgeted 23,000 left.
Yes.
So
Yeah, the contracted services and the rentals and leases, yeah, that's exactly it. So our CWMR's bill was paid, our Biblioteca bill was paid. Those all come out of the contracted and rentals and leases. So that is not concerning me at all, but the repair and maintenance line is definitely a concern. So moving forward, I'm working with Will and Evan to figure out how to pay for the upcoming repairs that we have scheduled, not to mention anything that comes up in the next 6 months prior to the new fiscal year. I'm sure we'll have more conversations about it in the future.
I did have one question as a follow-up to the door weight and the building inspector. It just seemed like that item regarding the weight was, there was a dispute there. And that would have seemed to be an objective type of thing. And so where are we with that? And is it subject to interpretation?
I am being ignored by the door manufacturer. So I've reached out to them a couple of times
Oh,
to follow up. And
Okay.
my understanding is they've already received Tracy Sharkey's reports, the building inspector's report,
okay.
and documentation. And I cannot get a hold of this person to get any more information.
So is it close? Is it a stark contrast in their estimates? I don't know what numbers each of them were coming up with,
So
but
I think I don't know if the numbers were different or if it was just a difference in opinion on what is acceptable, what is an acceptable level.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're kind of in a holding pattern
We're
until you
in
get a
holding
response.
pattern.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep bugging him.
I had a quick question on like expenditures. So I know there's like a certain amount we have to spend on like books and things like that. When I'm looking at those numbers, they all seem below 50%. And I believe there's been some challenges in the past where we almost have to like order ahead. So are you expecting those numbers to jump by January up substantially, or?
Not by January.
We have till June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some delays last year because I think the number of distributors had decreased, and so if you don't get your orders in early enough, then we won't hit it. And so
Yeah.
I guess just thinking about that, like just making sure we're on track to see a spike, so we're not going month by month up to
Yeah.
that.
So there's a few things happening here. First, with the teen librarian's absence, she's not been able to get in ordering monthly the way that she would have. So that is affecting some of that. Some of the low numbers are, like, for instance, the children's and tweens CDs and the adult CDs and audiobooks. We just aren't, like, we built that into the the bottom line budget, but we decided to move the funds and use them elsewhere because people aren't borrowing CDs and audiobook CDs the way that they have in the past. So those collections are increasing and we're redirecting funding elsewhere.
So will we see that be like a low 2% through the year, but then see another bucket be over budget?
Yes. Yes.
I know in a prior fiscal year, we were $8,000 over budget, and there was it may have had to do with each of the areas, each of the departments, not necessarily knowing what the others were ordering and allocated, so, and it's timing too, because of the ordering, and, making sure we knew what the accounts receivable was, so. We also, so conversely, we don't want to be too high, and my main concern too is that as we're approaching budget season, and we're talking about how much things cost, if there's any efficiencies that we can realize in ordering, we're almost penalized for being efficient because we could possibly order as much, if not more stuff, if we get the right, business relationships, or more efficient business relationships regarding ordering, but then we're forced to it's based only on money versus trying to justify that we have a sort of level service regarding the materials that we're making available to the public, but then MBLC and state aid is basing it on dollars spent. So you could be hypothetically overcharged, and then the state will say, "Oh, good, that's a good thing," and it's really not a good measure. So
But ultimately, your department heads know their budgets
Yes.
and should be expending within their budget. So there's no reason why the material budget should go over.
Well, it might be there is a little bit of a timing issue sometimes because sometimes they place an order and it doesn't get filled. So it's a
Sure, but I
little
think
bit,
I
yeah.
think Rachel's point was that the department heads should be ahead of that game so that it's not May and June and they're trying to spend money and some of those don't get
Yes.
used. So
Yeah.
they should be well aware of the budget and the
Yes.
timelines.
and you should, and they should bring it to your attention that it isn't a surprise on June 15th
Right.
Oh my gosh.
that this is happening, and it seemed to be the case where
And I feel like this is I just wanted to make sure that there was a plan. It sounds like there's a plan and that's on track. So that's
And it's,
perfect.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
51%, you're right on schedule
We're
for
doing
halfway through the
okay.
fiscal year.
The other issue is because one of the main book jobbers has gone under, even though we were already using Ingram primarily, because everybody who was with Baker and Taylor had to go to Ingram, it's causing supply chain issues. And so even though we're placing orders, we're not receiving them.
Okay, so
So
these are
we're
lower, but
way
the
behind.
percent placed is a lot higher. So
Yes.
if we were to see, and that's just what I was trying to get to.
Right.
So that if everything came in that's already placed, you would be substantially
It would
higher
be,
percentage
it would be
wise.
better. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
so we only pay for it after it's upon delivery.
We only get invoiced after it's shipped.
Oh wow.
Yep.
And that's
Because
the
it's a
nuance of
physical
the
good,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have a really good handle on all the orders placed and that are outstanding? Because I know that was a challenge in the past.
That Allison has that. Allison does all of the ordering, and she gets the carts from the department heads, I believe. So I think that's the.
Okay, so Allison Kusher is.
She has
yeah.
a very good handle on
Awesome.
everything and is
Okay.
way on top of reminding all the department heads and keeping track of all the numbers and doing.
And
all
she
of
can
the-
see everything that's been placed.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
she's-
really good.
Well, thank you for putting this in because I do think this is extremely valuable to have on a monthly report.
Can I ask one other question?
Any other questions? What?
Oh, I have one more question.
Yep.
Do you have, and we can send out after, but I was just looking for where all our account balances are.
Oh,
Just
Yeah.
how much money is left in each account,
Yep.
state aid and all that. That would be helpful.
I can definitely get that to you.
This was great.
And do you want that in like a regular monthly report as well?
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
Because
Got it.
especially like it's in your interest, because if you ask us for money, then we'll know.
Yeah, then we know
fair.
exactly what's in there.
And the other thing too is that, piggybacking off of, what Rachel mentioned and, is trust accounts, and also whether or not we've absolutely closed the door on whether there is any issue that is outstanding on whether we accessed or spent trust monies that shouldn't have been spent. And I don't know, I think that's a town administrator question.
Are you talking about the trusts that the board has control over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that,
We haven't, I mean, I don't think we've spent trusts.
The-
I mean, we had a couple expenses that we
Right.
approved during the renovation
but
project.
are those all zeroed out? I know that we zeroed out some, didn't we?
No, I don't think so. I think we spent a couple big chunks of the
Okay.
Wheeler Trust,
Okay.
but I believe there's
All right.
monies in all of them.
And we're sure that all of the Wheeler stuff and the wording of that trust document leaves no question as to,
For previous expenses?
or, well, moving forward, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's the two big ones are Wheeler and, can't remember the other one. Not Wheeler,
Nelson? No.
Nelson and Jerome Wheelock,
All right.
right? Yeah, Wheelock and
So
Nelson
do we
are
have
the two big pieces.
do we have jurisdiction over Nelson?
We do.
We do.
It's not the Nelson that, actually, I'm not 100% sure it's
Alright.
Nelson, but the two big accounts we have complete jurisdiction over, and
Okay.
it's not the Nelson Library stuff, it's separate.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And the two main ones are primarily around permanent structures, like permanent pieces of the library, like
Okay.
furniture, fixtures, stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But I will work with Katrina, because I do think that would be great to have that as a report as
Right.
well.
That'd be
Right.
really helpful. And if there's a little cheat sheet on the types of things for each,
Yeah.
just as a, like
Yeah.
still getting oriented, that'd be very
Yeah,
helpful.
no, that's,
Me too, right?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Most of them don't have a lot of money in them. I mean, they have thousands, but not tens of
Yeah.
thousands or more.
Yeah,
Alright.
I was able to see that with Mary
Yep.
Sheep.
And I will just add to the colleagues to my left, the two colleagues to my left, Carrie and Doug, as to at some point, in an agenda item soon, whether or not there's any affirmative plan or active discussions within your respective Capital Campaign Inc. and the Friends with whatever monies and balances there are there, whether or not there's certain plans for specific items, you know.
I mean, the Friends, I think, the Friends decide each year what they're gonna do, but they have traditionally given like $10,000 a year.
Okay.
Like, that's what they traditionally do. I don't
Okay.
think there's any plans to give any more
Right.
than that, but that's what they traditionally.
So it's more a monetary amount, just almost like a blank check, or is it saying, all right, it's 10,000 is because we expect that X, Y, and Z services or items will be needed.
So it used to be with the Friends that there were ongoing requests. So the library director would make periodic requests to the Friends. And a number of years ago, back when Beth was still director, a decision was made that that really wasn't like the best use of everybody's time, and that we should have some trust over the process. So the Friends decided to give two kind of lump sum amounts. Traditionally, recently it's been like 5,000 in two portions during the year, and the expectation is that that money would be used for primarily for funding like museum passes and programs, and would fund those types of
Okay.
things. But it's not. So Jean actually had brought up a question about this as far as like kind of like how funding is kind of allocated. We did have one year where Beth provided a listing of everything that the Friends money was kind of spent on, but it's a funding source. Like it's not.
Because we as a
Like
board don't have
semi-restricted.
jurisdiction over it.
It's semi-restricted then.
Semi, but Jean had actually had made a point that we might get more bang for our buck if we didn't use it for funding the passes, but that's traditionally what we've used. So, so I think that's something that we need to review. But just in general, like it's the Friends, it's also dependent on fundraising ability. But but that's traditionally what they've done in the past, and it could change in the future. But that's
All
traditionally
right.
what.
And then the same with the capital campaign.
Capital campaign is really different because it's money that was raised by specific donors. So some of the donors had restrictions on their funds. So the majority of the capital campaign, and it was it's like $1 million, was given to the library. So there's not a lot of money left.
My understanding, I looked up the 990 easy because you're not over 50,000 in revenues. The online submission from capital campaign is the 990 easy. It was like 90,000. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think
$90,000 balance?
It's
or-
about 70,000.
Oh, it's down to 70. Okay. So that was the most recent filing of, I think it was 23.
But the capital campaign is basically request driven. I mean, there are some
Yeah.
based on the donors, but it's a request driven. So
Right.
work with the library director and
Yeah.
the staff if they come up with ideas.
So-
So, for example, the capital campaign funded the replacement table for the
Right.
Friends Corner. So,
Right.
so if there is something that comes up that is like a capital in nature, it's something that could certainly be considered to be covered.
So is it not something that we plan in advance for? It's usually one off, oops, something broke and we need, or
I mean, it could be in advance, but right
it's just
now,
something
it's not
I would want in the back of our head. So even though as a board as a whole, we don't have jurisdiction over that, but oddly enough, the two of you and then before a third member of the board were the directors of the very funds. So like we'd be the requesters, but you two would also be the requesters and the decision makers. So even though we don't have it freely as a board, as a funding source, I think with budget times being tight, or anticipated being tight for FY27, that we have a more robust discussion as to what's on the table and what's off the table regarding the items that could, those funds could be spent on, and how we go about deciding how far in advance to request that be a funding source.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another funding source that we have besides the Friends, the trusts, and the
The leads
the
as
leads
well.
monies.
Yeah.
But knowing what those balances are so that we're not unreasonably depleting those funds
Yep.
too quickly. So,
You were right, Doug. It's the Jerome Wheelock and the Nelson
Thank you.
grants.
okay.
Great.
Okay. Any other? Thank you for that director's report. I do have a request for future reports. If I know we've asked for generally like to start off with bullets, but I think it'd be valuable to have a little bit more commentary on each of these items,
Oh, sure.
so that we're not like you're not explaining the whole situation to us at this time. But if we have it in advance, we'll be able to understand that, and we can just ask like questions. You can hit key points.
Sounds good.
And I would also, in the same way that some other committees, including, I'll use Select Board as an example, their meeting packet is published by Friday, typically Friday at noon, in advance of their Tuesday meeting. I'd love to be able to have that weekend to digest the director's report. So I would like to see that, by the Friday prior to a meeting. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but
I was going to bring that up. I think
Okay.
when we have the new admin,
Yeah.
it's important to get the agenda, locked in as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's important to have this board's input on the agenda. We typically do not get any input from the, except for like the policy committee, but and the goals. But the general committee is not responding to the agenda requests. But I think that admin can manage that. Like 2 weeks before our meeting, they send out the draft agenda, and then within that Friday, when that agenda needs to get posted, that's when the meeting packet would be ready and distributed.
Right.
And then everyone would have the weekend to review it.
Yeah, I think we could aim for that for the February meeting. January will still be
Yep.
transition.
right.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna root for the January one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate that.
I know you posted the, the, what do you call it, the stats, year over year from November 25 to 24. I mean, it's encouraging to see most of them going up. We kind of always think like it's gonna plateau, but it keeps going up, so that's good.
Sure does.
98 programs. That's very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Yeah, that's
attendance,
huge.
1,600 people attending
Staff are
them.
doing a great job.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions for Katrina on the director's report? All right, hearing none, we're gonna, since Chris couldn't make it, I'm not sure if he did the walkabout, but, we will move that, pass over that and, revisit it next month. New business. Is this yours, Katrina?
It is mine.
Okay.
So, I apologize for not bringing this to you sooner. Apparently, the town has their annual holiday party the Friday before the Christmas vacation days. The library staff was invited, and I guess it's past practice for the library to close for that hour with 15-minute buffer time around that, so that staff can attend the town staff meeting. So I would like to request that the trustees allow us to close the building from 11:45 a.m. to 1:15 p.m. to allow the staff to attend the town holiday party.
Is that right at the municipal center?
It's at the municipal center.
Yeah, and I know we've done that in the past.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for the library to be closed on Friday, December 19th from 11:45 a.m. to 1:15 p.m. to allow the staff and director to attend the town of Grafton's annual town holiday party and staff a meeting at the municipal center.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions or discussion? All right, yeah, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I declare the motion carried. Have fun at the holiday party.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy.
Much appreciated.
We had some discussion already on the capital campaign. I don't know, Kara,
I
if you
don't.
have any other updates?
Yeah, I don't really have any other updates, and I know we're running late now. So
I know.
Any questions from the board on that? Any additional questions from the board?
On new business?
No, on capital campaign?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Additional relevant topics that came up after posting the agenda. Do you have any additional?
Yeah, I would just say that as a reminder, I don't know if we'd call it old business or new business, but the 2025 town report, was that typically the chair? Well, I think we spoke about it at a recent meeting, right? For the town report, you'll get a message from the town administrator select board's office that typically that's due by the end of January.
Yeah, I have not seen anything on that. Have you seen anything about the annual report?
I have
There's
not.
typically two. There's an annual report for the library that the director is responsible for, and then there's an annual report from the Board of Library Trustees.
I have not.
That's
seen
not
it.
till much later, when we have the annual town meeting. It's not an end of year thing.
It's like that's for the May meeting.
May.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but the deadline to put it together,
Is it-
it's,
Typically
Yeah, the
January.
public-
it's typically the end of January. It used to be much later,
Yeah.
Okay.
but I think that,
All right.
it's
well,
a 300-page document, so they need a lot of lead time to put that together and format it, and they actually proofread it now. At some point, I don't think they did, but now they proofread it and come back to the various committees and say, there's a misspelling here, or this is not accurate, or this
So
doesn't
that's
seem right.
William would know about. Like,
I would just say
he be
that
able to-
Katrina and I will keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, Doug's done it before.
I've done it
Yeah.
before. I know Roger and Aaron probably have done it before.
Yeah,
You did it last year, didn't you?
I did do it
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
but I know either Cindy or Amber in the town administrator's office typically are the communicators of that deadline, and it's generally been the end of January.
You're
And you should be able to go through the library somewhere and see the old annual reports and kind of see the kind
Yeah,
of
it's pretty thick.
Okay.
thick, but the library's, it's gonna be a little difficult for you since you're only been here for a couple months, but I can help you with that.
So,
Or some of the staff can help you with that.
and then one other item that we're going to be facing as a committee, and it's partly because we also have an extracted website from the grafton-ma.gov. Title II of the Americans with Disability Act, the ADA, Web content accessibility guidelines, WCAG 2.2. The municipal deadlines, federal deadline is April 26th of 27 for websites, municipal websites to be up to federal WCAG 2.2 guidelines. And so I know that the town uses Civic Plus. It came before my other committee, Accessibility Advisory Commission. But that was as in harmony, working in harmony with Civic Plus providing the web support for the grafton-ma.gov main
Can I interrupt
website.
for a second? So, if you want me to put this in the meeting minutes, can you send this
Oh.
information? 'Cause I can't.
I would just.
No,
highlight
just
that.
put, no,
The
just put,
website
no,
Accessibility was discussed.
yeah, in other words, I think a lot of times we sometimes think we need to transcribe when it's, website accessibility, ADA, 4/26 of 27, deadline for upgrades.
And Katrina, I know you've been chatting a little bit about the side, about like stuff with the website, so it sounds like April 2027 is
Yeah.
plenty of time for everything you're thinking about, so
Yeah.
it sounds like you
So
have that
April
probably under
26th,
control.
27
Yes.
deadline.
And to note, we do not use Civic Plus.
Right.
So we use a WordPress site, so a lot of the issues with Civic Plus are not present in ours. However, our website is old and needs to be redone, and that is very much on my list of things
Yeah.
to do. So.
And I'll mention that, I thought that April 27 sounded like a faraway date, and I don't want this to be a distracting focus as you've started your tenure here, but I originally thought that sounded to me like a faraway date, and with respect to the task at hand, it actually isn't. And so it's not too early to be having these discussions. That's all.
Yep.
Just one thing with regards to the website. So when you look into options for the new website, please keep in mind the Friends as well, because they need it. Right now there's kind of like a feed, but the website that was developed for the Friends is in a language that nobody other than Aaron Kusher, Schwartz, not Schwartz, Dan Kusher. Dan Kusher is the only one that knows it. So we want to make sure, like, even if the Friends have to pay for it, that it's done in concert with the Friends.
Okay, great. Good to know.
And just whenever at your leisure, Northampton has an amazing website. Go to Northampton's website and you'll see this sort of lime green, I think it's a wheelchair icon, that there's a different menu of accessibility type features that it'll
Their
guide.
library page.
Is it their library?
It's
Or
no,
the
it's a
municipal
town.
page?
No, it's a municipal page, but I'm saying that it's something to look at to see the types of features that make things accessible. That's all. But
What town was it?
I don't know what other libraries are doing though.
What town was it, Roger?
Northampton,
Northampton.
yeah, as an example of one of many, I'm sure that are robust, but they seem to have done a good job at their recent updates.
That's good.
So
And if you need any involvement from the board on this website redesign or monies to fund some help with the development, be sure to account for that.
a lot of
I
these
think
are unfunded
First and
mandates.
foremost, it sounds like this is a municipal requirement, right? And we need to know if the library website is under purview of redevelopment of the municipal website.
We're told it's not.
Right.
We discussed this
So I-
in Accessibility Advisory Commission that
Very good.
it's only, the town has only been doing the grafton-ma.gov website, and the police, the school district, and library have extracted websites that don't fall under this whole Civic Plus municipal
Very good.
stuff.
So it looks like we have some time
Yeah, no, we have time. It's
to
just,
redesign it.
it's something that it's not too early to at least call it to the board's attention.
And so are we not tied to that April 2027 deadline?
No, we are tied to it. What I'm saying is that it's not too early to be bringing this discussion up because the amount of work that's needed to bring websites up to snuff is significant.
No, I know,
Like
Rachel's
big-
point is,
Like,
just because we're not the town website, we're still
Oh, no, yeah.
under that guidance.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Has
it's,
any work been done to say like if it is out of compliance, or are we
probably
just
isn't,
assuming it's
right?
out of?
I'm assuming it's out of compliance.
So I think we just need to understand if it is and how and what change.
So there's actually an online tool, and
Right.
the name is escaping me, where you can filter your website through this tool, and it'll tell you every
Whether you're
single
40%,
button
Especially if it's a
50%, 20,
WordPress.
yeah.
Yeah, if it's a WordPress site.
of where the accessibility issues are.
Right.
I'll run that report and follow up with you at our
Right.
next meeting.
And it may also be worth checking in with William on it too, because if there's specific, like, just because that site says you're not compliant, it might not be what minimum requirements are based on that April 2027.
But it's Title II of ADA is state and local governments. So we fall under that, municipal, deadline.
Okay.
I'd like you to take that offline and kind of see what other
Yeah.
libraries are doing, because,
Absolutely.
I mean, if we're not required, I mean,
No, we are required.
well, I don't know that we are.
Well, we're a municipality and
So,
we're a
but-
division of a municipality,
Okay, we're a division of a municipality,
right?
and that's what I want to understand. Like,
Okay.
I just need to know if it's, yes, you have to do this, or no, but you should do this.
Right.
I'd rather the second one than the
Okay.
first one.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely find that out.
Well, I think it's for our director.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you'd like to.
Then you find that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, I'll have to step back a second, Aaron. I keep on, sometimes inadvertently putting my other committee hat on,
Sure.
because we've been robustly discussing this in the other committee, and it wasn't in question that the other websites of those departments needed to be in compliance. That's all.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's
that's
why
good
we have a
information.
diverse board with
Yep.
Yeah.
different expertise.
So yeah,
So
that's your task, but I'm pretty sure you'll find the answer is yes.
sure.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Any public input? Nope. Nobody on Zoom?
No.
Okay, so given that, our next meetings of Friends is January 13th at 7:30. That's a Zoom meeting. The policy subcommittee is still scheduled for January 6th, and Aaron will reach out if Prabhu can't make it so that we can look for volunteers for another trustee to go.
Yep.
And then our next meeting is January 28th. If anyone realizes they cannot make one of our board meetings, it's great to let us know as soon as possible. I mean, I know there's always short-term stuff that comes up, but if there's enough of us that can't make it, then and we have enough notice, we can consider rescheduling.
I think that's a great point. I'm glad you brought it up, because as elected officials, right, we all have personal lives and schedules, right? So we commit to certain meeting dates and duties for the board. We should reasonably know if we can't make a meeting not an hour beforehand, right? Unless it's an emergency or extenuating circumstances. So this is just a reminder for all of us that the proper way to go about this is to ask to be excused from the meeting and have it be and communicate that through the chair, right? Because we've had issues in the past where people can't make meetings and they can't make meetings and can't make meetings, and then the bylaws say 4 meetings, and then
Consecutive, right?
4 consecutive missed meetings are up for discussion of the board being removed from the board, right? That's within our purview to do so. So I know there's others who are here that can hear this, but I think Doug can certainly communicate that, or
Yep.
they can look at the meeting minutes. But we have had to have discussions with board members who consistently just don't show up.
And I'll say that there's a technicality where someone could miss 3 meetings, make 1, miss 3, and they haven't missed
Had
4.
that happen too.
Yeah, and
you
maybe it should be 4 in a row, or the lesser 4 in a row, or so many within any 12-month period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a loophole on that where they could be missing 75% of the meetings, but never have missed 4 in a row.
Yeah, but then that's up to the chair to have discussions and say, hey, you really need to be coming.
Yeah.
And if it continues, then, oh, well, maybe they won't run next time.
Right.
Right.
You
Or
know?
step down
Sure.
early.
Yeah, or like I said, if we know in advance, enough in advance, and there's more than one person that can't make it, we can consider rescheduling.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
Okay,
I move to adjourn unless, are you ready to accept
I
that
am
motion?
ready to accept
I
the motion
move-
to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I declare the motion carried, and so we are adjourned at 9:24. So hope everyone has a happy holiday.
All right.
Two.